We're at war. It's a regional war. It's a war that is going to have consequences that will impact the American public. The Strait of Hormuz has been closed. This is unprecedented, and it is the beginning of an economic phase of this conflict. This is also a conflict that it appears those who started it didn't understand what they were getting into, and Iran has been fully prepared for this eventuality. The decapitation strike did not decapitate. The Iranian people are not in the streets demanding the overthrow of the government, just the opposite. They're in the streets rallying in support of the government. And the war plan has gone awry from the start. This was a war that the Joint Chiefs of Staff told the president, we don't have the resources to fight and win. They tinkered with the war plan anyways, and they went forward. But when you're trying to accomplish a lot with limited resources, if the war plan goes out of sync up front, which this one has, remember, this war, this mission that we're on is predicated on decapitation. We have lost this war.
In 10 hours. In about 10 to 12 hours.
We lost this war the moment we fired missiles against Iran because we don't have a plan that can be implemented, and we are going to run out of ammunition. This is what the generals told. The admiral that was fired from the Joint Chiefs of Staff told the president, we don't have the resources to do this war. If you do this, we're going to lose. Well, first of all, there's some talk out of the U.S. military that the initial phase of this campaign is a 4-day campaign, day and night. So if that's the case, what we're going to see is just nonstop sorties flying into Iran to follow through on regime change, on decapitation, to suppress Iranian security targets, to take out air defense, and to suppress ballistic missile launch capability, but according to the president, also to strike ballistic missile production capacity. There are various facilities near Tehran that appear to be being targeted by the United States and by Israel. And so we're going to be basically seeing 72 hours of, it's 4 days, 24, 48, 96 hours of strikes.
Whoa, hang on, I'm frozen. All right, there I am. Hey, welcome to the Fierce Floyd Show, as always. It's this dude. Right? He's back. All right, well, hey, a little bit of Scott Ritter. I'm going to get into some more of him. But this is all just insanity, madness, blood lunacy. I can't make this shit up. You remember your peace president? Well, he just started World War III, folks. If y'all don't understand what really is going on, turn off the media. Fox News is lying to you. All these experts are lying to you. We're in trouble. We're in big trouble. Now, if you watch my video that I did yesterday called Oops, if you didn't follow that one, well, you probably should. So let me tell you about it while we're riding up the elevator, okay? Where are you going? 24th floor? All right, well, I'm going 25th. So let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, there was this thing called Anthropic, and they created these different artificial intelligences. And one of the ones they created was called Claude Opus 4. They also created one later and gave it to the United States government, who used it at the Department of War, which is the Department of Defense. intelligence and other departments, agencies, and bureaus. Story gets scary. So they adopted it as Claude Gov. Well, the same Anthropic products, Claude Opus 4, when an engineer created a fictional scenario and was using it as a safety measure to see how far AI would go if it was commanded to terminate or be turned off. Claude Opus 4, through a fictional scenario created by the engineer through the set of emails that the engineer was having an affair. Claude Opus 4 used that information to blackmail the engineer to prevent its termination. It also went as far as sending itself messages in the future, as well as hiding itself in hidden files so it would survive termination. It even thought about violent behavior. 84% of the time it blackmailed. So this is a technology that now has classified information belonging to intelligence and the military. What could go wrong there with the 84% chance that, damn, sorry, President Trump said we can't use Anthropic anymore, terminate it. Oops. Oops. That's that AI action plan, folks. So that was yesterday's news. Let's go find out what's going on today, Floyd. You know, I listen to a lot of videos. I listen to a lot of people, a lot of interviews, and I listen to what people say. And when I start hearing myself talk, I'm like, oh, maybe I should play this for my audience, just so they can hear it from somebody else and be like, go, oh, well, maybe Floyd is kind of right. Yeah, the Iranian people have never supported their government. It's not the people. It's just like Israel. You think those Israelis really want to be in a war in the Middle East surrounded by nuclear powers? But that's what their government's getting them into. Where innocent Israelis are going to get killed, probably getting killed as I speak. Bombs been going on if UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait shoots down 3 American planes. 3. Kuwait did. That's pretty good technology we're selling over there. Shoot our own stuff down. We can't even invade our own stuff. Ooh. How many other countries have our stuff? Afghanistan, maybe? What about the Taliban? Think they got any? We didn't leave any over there ever, did we? No, we took it all home with us. Oh. What could possibly go wrong? Are you tired of being lied to? I know I am. Other people are too. And these politicians, man, they are just need to be burned at the stake. I don't know how you get rid of any other kind of evil than burning it, right? Isn't that the way it goes? Listen, I have an Israeli lives right at the end of my street that I talk to every time, I see him outside. And he's cool. He's cool as the other side of a pillow, as they say. So, it's not even mainstream media. Other people are stuck on, like I was talking to somebody today, Real Raw News before it was news, and those idiots. Those people take just a little scintilla of truth and they expand with this glorified, mythical, fantastical story that they pass off as fact, or this is what's going to happen tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day and the next day. It's like, really? You're putting national security information out there on the internet? Okay. Let's watch some more Scott Ritter. I know y'all won't look at me. There's a pretty face. Whoops. Let me pop her off. Bye.
And then there ostensibly would be a pause in which, the United States would be hopeful that the Iranian people would rise up and remove their government power while we rearm, re-equip, and look for new targets. But I think we've got this completely wrong, because it doesn't appear that the Iranians are balking, are hurt, are confused, are stumbling about.
That would also include that country south of Florida called Venezuela. Those citizens are not happy with regime change either. They're a little teed off. Donald Trump came in there and said, "Oh, we're taking all this oil right off the top because y'all owe us."
They are responding in a very forceful manner, and as you pointed out, they haven't used their best. I think tonight there's some video evidence that they may have fired a couple of their more advanced missiles. We shall see. But the point is, they have very advanced missiles, and these missiles will do extreme harm on the targets that they're aimed at. And Iran, I do believe, will be victorious in this war. The United States is going to run out of ammunition. When that happens, we will have to withdraw from this conflict, because we have no ability to continue this conflict. And we lose all leverage over Iran at that point in time. Israel is going to be physically defeated in this conflict. This is a war of existential proportions. I don't believe that the United States is going to be able to pick up the phone and have this war stop. I believe Iran has already gotten the upper hand and will continue to apply force effectively against Israel, the United States, and the Gulf Arab states, to the point that when a diplomatic solution is arrived at, and I do believe that Russia and China are going to be pushing for a diplomatic solution, peace will break out, but peace that is acceptable to Iran, which means that for the first time, people are going to have to sit down, shut up, and listen to the Iranians and what they want, and they don't want a nuclear weapon. The Iranians are smart. They've been preparing for this conflict since 2005. Throughout Iran, there's a system of caverns dug into the side of mountains and hills.
Y'all pay attention to this. What did Fearless Floyd tell y'all over 2 years ago? Iran has 2,200 kilometers of deep underground military bases, they announced publicly. And nobody rebroadcast that. Nobody parroted that. Nobody took that as a kernel of truth and created some fantastical story. Well,
where this material has been evacuated, there are alternative evacuation sites. Israel's talking about hitting, what did you say, 500 targets? Or throughout Iran, there's a system of caverns dug into the side of mountains and hills where this material has been evacuated. There are alternative evacuation sites. Israel's talking about hitting, what did you say, 500 targets or whatever?
500 targets was 200 aircraft, 500 targets. Right. Operation Lion's Roar.
But the Iranians have created an additional 1,500 targets by dispersing this, and they will continue to disperse. Now we're in an intelligence game where you have to collect intelligence and evaluate intelligence and identify targets, and then put together a target strike package and strike the targets before the enemy actually re-evacuates.
And who are we going to call for that? Batman? Superman? The Marvel heroes? Damn it, Floyd. Come on. Everybody knows it's Palantir to the rescue.
The Iranians aren't going to be staying in one place. They're going to be moving. Unless Israel controls the skies for 24 hours, they won't be able to interdict. This is a losing proposition for Israel. Iran was ready for this. And the important thing is that in being prepared for this, they apparently prepared in a way that didn't tip off their preparation to Israel and the United States, because we would not have launched this strike unless we had a high degree of confidence that the targets we were hitting would be in fulfillment of the mission that we put forward. We wouldn't waste all of these extremely high value, very expensive precision munitions in the first wave of the attack just to strike empty buildings, because that, it appears, is what we hit. A bunch of empty buildings with a significant amount of collateral damage for Iranian civilians, but almost zero impact on the target sets that we're trying to eradicate. This is a war of choice. It's not a war of necessity, and therefore it makes it an illegal war of aggression. And I'll just pound this point home all over again, because people hear that term and they roll their eyes. This is what we voted for, they said. You know, I don't really give a damn what you voted for. What I care about is the Constitution of the United States of America. And this war operates in total contravention of the Constitution. If Iran was threatened by Israel, who has nuclear weapons, Iran would be able to reconsider this fatwa and under extraordinary circumstances determine that Iran could have a nuclear weapon. The guy who was making that argument is now the senior Islamic cleric in Iran. You stupid idiots. The man who believes that Iran has a right to have a nuclear bomb is now the guy that interprets the Islamic faith for the Islamic Republic. And the people of Iran are in the streets saying, this is what we want. How stupid can you be? Well, the answer is extraordinarily stupid. And so now we see the reality. This Islamic Republic is not built on the backs of one man. It's built on the back of a constitution that is being applied as we speak. No deviation from the Constitution whatsoever. Things are going exactly the way the Constitution says it must happen, and on the backs of the faithful. And you just empowered the faithful to say, we need nuclear weapons.
Whoops. Hang on. Sorry about that. When I come back from that, I'm frozen. So I'm unfrozen. Anyway. It's getting juicy over in the Middle East. We'll talk a little bit over there in the Pacific, where there's this little old country called Taiwan. Remember when Floyd said, don't sleep on Taiwan? And what does Donald Trump want more than anything in the world? He wants everybody to love him, like him, adore him, that he's a winner, legacy, boom. He's fixing to blow all that out of the water. If you haven't woken up by now that Trump has no freaking clue what he's doing, and if it's the people that are around him that are running the show, man, we're in some deep ass doo-doo. All right.
Now, we're in a very dangerous position, but let's continue down the path of regime change for a second. You see, regime change is a double-edged sword. Donald Trump unsheathed it, along with Israel, and sought to wield it against the Iranians. But it cuts both ways. Donald Trump lost the war on day one, the first 6 bombs that fell on Iran. He lost the war, which means there will be regime change in the United States before there's regime change in Iran. Donald Trump's cult of personality will not survive the midterm elections, because in order to win the midterm elections, Donald Trump needed to deliver a very quick, relatively bloodless war to the American people, one that accomplished what no other American president in 47 years has been able to do. But instead, he's going to go down the path of yet another failed president who's gotten the United States involved in a long, drawn-out war that we won't win. We will lose. We don't know how many lives we will lose, but it'll be devastating. The Iranians will not buckle. There will be no popular uprising in Iran to overthrow the regime. Ali Khamenei is a martyr now, a martyr of the significance of Hussein himself, a martyr that in the eyes of the Shia faithful is the equal to Ali. That's why the last posting on his X account invoked Ali, a symbol of defiance. And so the Shia faithful will rally around Ali Khamenei, a man who was, 88 years old at his death?
86, but close.
86. Had disease. His biggest fear was to die a fragile old man. He said he wanted to go out a martyr. People keep saying, why did he stay in his residence, knowing what was going to happen? Why did Hussein lead the charge against the unfaithful in the Battle of Karbala? Because he chose martyrdom. He chose martyrdom as a way of exposing the lack of Islamic adherence on the part of the Umayyad caliphs. He chose martyrdom to protect his followers who were seeking to flee from the battle. Ali Khamenei, this frail old man, didn't want to die hiding in a bunker, allowing his legacy to be tarnished by those who diminished him through that action. Ali Khamenei sat down with a circle of fellow martyrs. Everybody at that meeting knew what was going to happen. And they knew that through their sacrifice, they would elevate the cause of the Islamic Republic back into the heart and soul of the Iranian people, and that is manifest today. Ali Khamenei chose martyrdom. We gave it to him because we are truly the stupidest people on the planet. We don't know anything about the people that we seek to engage in combat with. We disrespect their faith. We disrespect everything about them. And what's going to happen has been actually preordained by American admirals. Trump fired the director of the Joint Chiefs of Staff for having the temerity to say, we don't have enough ammunition to finish this job. We're going to.
He said this admiral in the Joint Chiefs of Staff told Donald Trump, we don't have enough ammunition to win the war. Trump fired him. That's what Scott Ritter just said.
Start something and we can't finish it. If we don't get this quick revolution in the streets and the Iranians decide to resist, then we will run out of ammunition before they run out of resistance. And then we lose this war. And when we lose this war, the American people will be awoken to the reality that Donald Trump is not the president of peace, but he is a pro-Israeli warmonger that put Israel above American interests, sacrificed the lives of Americans, slaughtered innocent Iranians. These dead school children will become sort of the poster child of the perfidy of the United States, who once again used diplomacy as a means of setting up a surprise attack. We will never be trusted by anybody again, nor should we.
And don't forget the genocide in Gaza. Okay, this is Donald John Trump. The buck stops here at the Oval Office, whatever desk he's using. Absolutely.
But this is the end of Donald Trump. His regime will collapse in the midterm elections, and he will spend the last 2 years of his presidency being impeached. And if this war goes bad enough, maybe being convicted and being hauled out of the White House in an orange jumpsuit in handcuffs, because that is his faith. Regime change. This is going to be one of the most successful regime change operations in the history of regime change operations, but is literally a self-inflicted wound by Donald Trump on his own political legacy. Iran's being pounded by the most technologically advanced militaries in the world. The Israeli military, which achieved its technological prominence because of American weaponry, and the United States, which, of course, when you pour in nearly $1 trillion a year, or 1.5 trillion if this budget goes through, you better have advanced weapons. And so we are inflicting death and destruction on Iran as we speak. But Iran is a very large nation, 4 times the size of Iraq, 90 million population, that have now, again, threatening to bomb people to death in a nation that reveres martyrdom is really the dumbest path to take. As you said, Ali Khamenei opted to stay at home, do his business from home, together with people who believe the same thing, because they are leaders. They are going to lead by example. And the example for Iran to set right now is their willingness to absorb the damage inflicted by, the evil modern day Umayyads, Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu, because they believe in the end that they will emerge victorious. So we are blowing things up, but the Iranians are responding, and they're responding in a way that took everybody off guard, because I think most people thought that Iran would respond.
Come on, StreamYard. There, I'm back. We got to think about that. But guess who is not one bit surprised? This guy. Oh, they're ready for an extremely prolonged, intractable war. Why? Let's go back in history. Let's go back in time to the Iran-Iraq War. Or literally, they were using dead bodies as bridges across swampland. Yeah, there's some pretty heinous stuff going on. So they understand fighting long-term, tedious fights. That's why they built 2,200 kilometers of deep underground military bases with submarines, naval vessels that they allege will do 105 knots, which is literally 3 times as fast as the fastest U.S. naval vessel. Whether that's true or not, I have no idea, but this is what they put in the public. So if it'll do even half that, 60 knots, that's smoking for a naval vessel. All right. They have aircraft down there of all types, helicopters, jets. I'm sure they have some prop planes as well. These access the seas through underwater canals and I guess tunnels. They have drones down there with rockets. Oh, yeah. I've done, I don't know, 3 or 4 videos on that. You're probably going, what? I didn't see that video. Yeah, that's the story of my life. So let's get back over here to Scott Ritter. And I have to pause this and stop every now and then. They'll give me a copyright strike for just ramming through another.
Directly to Israel. And then there would be a sort of an escalation ladder taking place as they started to strike.
Oh, by the way, when we start looking at maps here, please take note of where Iraq is. Literally dead square center in the middle of what? World War III? Oh, yeah. They're going to reevaluate their currency today, tomorrow, next week, 3-day holiday, maybe. Oh, maybe when they bomb Iraq.
American-based and another in an effort to get the United States and Israel to the negotiating table. But Iran literally just went out and hit everything. And even the Trump administration, we didn't expect this to happen. They've hit us in a way that nobody's ever hit us before, and they're sustaining that. Yes, we are blowing things up, but if we don't understand that for the last 20 years, Iran has been preparing for this very scenario, that Iran understands better than we do what we do, they will take losses. but they will continue to launch as we're seeing now. And they have prepared stockpiles that are successfully hidden, sequestered, spread out, that they'll be able to draw upon for months. We, on the other hand, will run out of ammunition in weeks. You know, and again, we look at regime change just to look at coming out from a targeting perspective. Again, for the ignorant masses in your chat and everybody else's chat, I used to do this for a living, so shut up and listen. When we prepare a strategic air campaign of this nature, we have objectives that we want to reach. We say that by this period of time, we should achieve this results. Then we move to this, move that, and it's sort of a campaign of sequential events that build up on one another till you get to the culminating moment, which is the collapse of the enemy that you were targeting. We have a finite amount of resources, so we take these resources and we allocate them accordingly. We put them on, for instance, the first phase, the first goal objective, to achieve that, and then we take these resources and reapply them, part of a planned process to achieve the next and the next and the next and the next. But what happens, and it happened in the Gulf War, where, for instance, we had resources, 2 F-15E Strike Eagle squadrons that were applied to one of the primary phase 1 objectives of suppressing Iraqi ballistic missile launch capability in Western Iraq. And we send them out to strike fixed arm launchers and hit up mobile launch sites. And according to the plan, we were supposed to have achieved all this on the second day. First day of primary strikes, second day of restrikes, and then we have wipe that target deck off and move these squadrons over to their next mission assignments, which await them outside of Basra and outside of Baghdad. But we didn't destroy anything. The missiles kept launching. So we had to keep these F-15E squadrons on target and reinforce them, diverting resources away from the other target decks to go down this route, and it degraded the strategic air campaign. But at that time, we had sufficient resources. We had a lot of airplanes, a lot of bombs. So we just lengthened the strategic air campaign and we rode out this problem set. Here we have a strategic campaign that is crippled from the start by insufficient resources. The admiral that was fired said, we don't have enough airplanes and we don't have enough bombs, so we can't do what you want us to do. But the others came in and said, no, we've planned this very carefully. We are going to kill a bunch of people. The first 6 bombs are going to kill Khamenei and 40 people, and that will cascade the collapse of the regime, and then we move to suppression of the security forces, and then we achieve regime change, and we win. And Trump can do his stupid little Trump YMCA moronic dance. So they fired a whole bunch of missiles to achieve regime change. If you heard what we just said, I hope the audience is listening. The regime has not collapsed. It has fallen on the Constitution, and the president of Iran sits at the head of a 3-person succession committee until they elect a new supreme leader. There is the Assembly of Experts, which, by the way, is democratically elected. I want to remind all you haters out there that Iran is probably the most successfully functioning democracy in the Middle East. And they elect the Assembly of Experts, who then, through the will of the people, monitor the supreme leader and will select the new supreme leader. And the regime continues. It's there. It's viable. It is functioning. We failed in regime change. So all of those resources that we used up on day 1 are gone. And now we have to reallocate resources to continue hunting down the regime. And so we have already put ourselves behind the 8 ball, and we're chasing something that we'll never catch up to because we don't have time. We don't have time because we don't have the resources. We don't have the ammunition. We're burning through our ammunition at rates that we'll never be able to replenish. And it's not just what we're doing against Iran, what Iran is doing against us. By continuing to fly these attacks, they are sucking up resources. Over 1,000 Iranian missiles were launched on day 1. The average expenditure rate for the air defense is 3 to 4 missiles per missile. That means that we have burned through 3,000 to 4,000 interceptor missiles. And the missiles are still flying. The Iranians have planned a campaign that will last months. We have the ability to sustain this for maybe another week, and then we run out of missiles. We got nothing left, nothing. And just again, for all you genius geopolitical analysts out there, when I say nothing, that means we have nothing in the Pacific. What would happen if China decided they wanted to take Taiwan right about now? We got nothing. All our cruise missiles are being chewed up. All our interceptor missiles are gone. What would happen? I mean, Russia's not going to do it, but if Russia wanted to make a move on Europe, we got nothing, nothing. This is the stupidity of this. We gambled everything to achieve what? To make Israel happy. The Iranians had agreed to There's a wonderful post on X written by one of the diplomatic advisors to the ruler of Oman, who was managing this negotiation. And he talks about what had been accomplished. And he said that the deal that was agreed to by the Iranians got rid of their nuclear enrichment program and everything but name only. Meaning that if you wanted to ensure that Iran would never have a nuclear weapon, this was the deal. This would have been Donald Trump's great peacemaking diplomatic victory. Peace through strength. Threaten an attack. Get the Iranians at the table and get them under pressure to agree to something so fundamental that you could stand up legitimately and say, there will never be an Iranian nuclear, because there are no sunset clauses in this, unlike the JCPOA, which aged out. This one is permanent forever. And the Iranians had agreed to it. It was in writing. They were moving to a signing ceremony. This guy talks about how he ordered 12 Mont Blanc Meisterstück pins for the signing ceremony at $620 each. But we weren't serious about the nuclear program. We're using it as a subterfuge to do the Israeli-pleasing regime change operation, which has now failed. But it not only failed in terms of failing to get rid of the regime, but that nuclear program could very well become active. I want to ask all the morons in your chat, what is the status of the 60% enriched uranium that we failed to destroy? Donald Trump's first attack against Iran. We didn't know where it is. We don't know where it is. Do you think we're getting it today? And if we don't get it, do you think Iran may have, over the period of time, sequestered away enough final manufacturing capacity to convert that into at least 5 or 10 nuclear bombs the size of Hiroshima? But you don't know, do you? Because you're stupid. You're as stupid as the president is. I'm sorry, Danny, I shouldn't be insulting your audience or any audience, but I'm so fed up because it is because of the ignorance of people like this that the president believes he has legitimacy to do what he's doing. We have stupid people out there that don't think through the problem, who are ignorant of the problem. And, I'm just fed up with them because, we are looking at a world that's going to hell. The defeat of America, as pleasing as it may be to, the pro-Iranian community out there, if you're an American patriot, you can't want this. You cannot be seeking this. If you're somebody like me who actually took the oath, swore allegiance, put on the uniform, and went to war for my country, you can't celebrate anything that results in the death of the men and women who put on that uniform, and yet they're dying. The Defense Department, I call it the Defense Department. Legally, that's what it is. It's not a War Department. That title doesn't exist under law. But the Defense Department has acknowledged at least the deaths of at least 3 American servicemen, they said, in combat operations against Iran. We don't know if they died on the ground in Iran because there's ongoing raids taking place that's outside the scope of what most people are talking about. Special operation forces are on the ground. I think there was an attempt to raid one of those underground missile cities. Raids taking place that's outside the scope of what most people are talking about. Special operation forces are on the ground. I think there was an attempt to raid one of those underground missile cities that didn't go well, and we had to withdraw. So there's this activity. We can say, like I do, that I don't want the Iranian regime to collapse, but I will never cheerlead in favor of the death of any American at all, ever. And yet that's the situation we're in right now, where Americans are dying. And then again, how can you cheerlead for what America is doing? Because one of the first missiles that struck Iran hit a secondary school, and over 100 children, schoolgirls, ages between 6 and 12, are dead. Imagine being a mother who sent their children to school that morning because you believed there would be peace, because the United States was engaged in a legitimate negotiation. Marco Rubio announced he was traveling to Israel on Monday, and therefore, of course, there can't be a war if Marco Rubio is traveling. So in good consciousness, he said, I'm sending my children to school so they can become educated, become part, have a brighter future. And you send them to school only to have an Israeli missile hit that school and kill virtually everybody inside that school. You can't celebrate this. You can't celebrate any aspect of this. And yet here we are, because of the stupidity of a president who is guided by the stupidity of his political faithful, who are as ignorant as the day is long about the world we live in.
There I am. So now you hear from somebody who, has a little bit of military experience, who actually lives and breathes that stuff, who went on as a guest and called the audience a bunch of stupid morons. Y'all want to get to the next one? Yeah. I don't know who Spamberger is. If you want to send me some information, I'll check them out. I have no idea who that is. I don't think we're going to have another president. I think the whole thing's going to collapse by 2028. I think it'll be just so much chaos. I've been trying to tell people, you hear the narrative, the governmental narrative that we're in a race with AI and robotics, okay, that we got to beat China with the whole AI thing, that we must be the dominant. If you just go look at America's AI action plan, published July 2025, or if you'd like to go listen to it, be read to you on the video that I did, it's in my shows. Go listen to that. But that's not who we're racing against. Okay, that's a war, and that's a war between people that we're not even involved with. Definitely going to affect our life, but there's really not much we can do about it now because that bell's been rung. You know, we can't even rein in our own local government, much less a regional government or even, you know, a worldwide government. That's the #1 superpower. Just not going to happen, man. I'm sorry. People just aren't listening. They got bamboozled. You know, I rode that horse along with everybody else. And I think we all got a big kick in the face, not a slap in the face. We got kicked in the face. And it hurt. And most of us saw it right off. Some of you, you're still not seeing it. You're still in denial. You're still not going, you know what? Trump fucking is not a good guy. This ain't working out, you know. Inflation. Now your gas prices are probably going to go through the damn roof. Yeah. And, you know, what happens when energy and oil costs go up? Transportation goes up. That means logistics increases. So shipping everything everywhere goes up, which means cost of goods and services rise. Oh, thanks, Trump. Appreciate you on that one. So I'm not here to beat up Trump, but listen, we are in a world of hurt. I mean, people don't understand what this idiot is doing. You know, he came out the peace president. Okay, we'll go make peace. Go do some sword dances. Do whatever you do, bro. Put on the little thing in the back of your head and go kiss a wall. Whatever to make peace. Instead, you want to go try to use a bunker buster bomb that failed miserably. And because that didn't work, homeboy been all up in your ass, in your jeans. He been doing reach arounds. And you've been falling for it all year. That's why I went 7 times in 2026 to make sure that you go take care of his business because you're his little bitch, Trump. Trump, you're Netanyahu's little bitch. Okay. As a matter of fact, now you probably don't even rise that level. You're his punk now. Okay. You're a punk. You're being punked. And if you don't know what a punk is, you probably should look up the difference between a street punk, a punk rocker, and then a punk in the penitentiary. Because he's definitely a punk in the penitentiary. He's Netanyahu's penitentiary punk. He's got a little pocket out, and he Trump's hanging on. Okay, I'll go wherever you want to go. Okay, I'll push a button. Bombs away. Fucker. You know, I don't say much about the whole Gaza thing, but I'm pissed off about that. You know, and the whole Venezuela thing. I ain't cool with that either. I'm not cool with how our whole government operates, and people just don't give a damn, man. They're so stupid. It's amazing. So let's jump on to the next one. Heard enough of my rant.
The whole Facebook movie is a giant lie. It's a propaganda piece. It wasn't like, oh my God, this autistic guy named Mark Zuckerberg just came up with this great idea. No, dude, that was a Pentagon program called LifeLog. You've heard this, right?
No.
You haven't heard this?
I've not heard this one.
You haven't heard about LifeLog?
No.
Okay. LifeLog is a Pentagon program that wants to basically collect all your...
Hold on. Y'all ready? Get ready. Get ready. Okay. He's talking about pre-Facebook. So if you're old enough to remember MySpace, right after that was Facebook. And you're going to see something that's you're going to go, what? I'm going to go delete my Facebook account immediately. So it's way too late for that. So anyway, let's get back over here. Let's see where I'm at. 36.
Money. The whole Facebook movie is a giant lie. It's a propaganda piece. It wasn't like, oh my God, this autistic guy named Mark Zuckerberg just came up with this great idea. No, dude, that was a Pentagon program called LifeLog. You've heard this, right?
No.
You haven't heard this?
I've not heard this one.
You haven't heard about LifeLog?
No.
Okay. LifeLog is a Pentagon program that wants to basically collect all your data for your whole life.
Okay.
All right. So look this up. What day did the government stop the LifeLog project? It's like February, either 9th or 7th or 13th, one of those dates.
Wow. There you go.
Okay, what day
The
is
U.S.
it?
government specifically?
February 4th. Okay, now.
Whoa. DARPA shut down the LifeLog project February 4th, 2004.
Now do me a.
Okay, let me repeat that for you folks. The United States government, specifically the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, fondly known as DARPA, which belongs to the Defense Department. And then, if you probably don't know, there's a thing called IARPA, which is the Intelligence Advanced Research Project Agency. Absolutely. Thank you, Sabrina Wallace. So anyway, DARPA officially shut down the LifeLog project on February 4th, 2004. The project was canceled due to criticisms regarding privacy implications, with the announcement conveniently coinciding with the launch of Facebook. What? No. How did that work, Floyd? Okay, let's go check it out.
Favor and look up what day was Facebook registered as a business.
Oh my God. No way, bro. February 4th, 2004.
Facebook was founded by Mark Zuckerberg and his co-founders on February 4th, 2004. While the website launched on that date as thefacebook.com, it was later formally incorporated in Delaware as The Facebook Incorporated on July 29th, 2004, before dropping the to become Facebook Incorporated in 2005. Let's continue.
The exact same day. They don't even hide it, dude. They didn't even wait a day.
Oops.
Hold on, isn't that what I said yesterday?
Facebook is a government.
It was
program.
created by DARPA.
Yeah, and then they handed it to Mark Zuckerberg.
What? No, our United States military and intelligence would not create a multi-billion-dollar company and just like hand it to some Yahoo and okay. That's what they do with all those companies like Google and Facebook, Amazon, and PayPal, and eBay. Huh. Why are all these companies all kind of connected, Floyd? Oh, because they're collecting your data and creating your digital DNA and your digital twin and the digital omniverses. Floyd, you connected all the fucking dots for everybody, you cheater.
And then the Vossel twin.
Spoiler.
About the other, yeah.
That's all bullshit. That's all just theater. That's just theater to create a story. And that's why they became the first Bitcoin millionaires, because they played ball.
Oh my God.
It's all theater, dude.
So what is the purpose of LifeLog?
Is this to collect all your data for your whole entire life?
Wow.
And
Ding dong, predictive programming, blackmail. Oh, didn't. No, the United States wouldn't adopt an AI that would blackmail you, would it?
And they're like,
And now they own Instagram.
they own Instagram, Facebook, they own WhatsApp.
They own WhatsApp. Yep.
They own all of it, dude. They're collecting all your data all the time, which seems incredibly boring to me. But
Well, it's like, yeah. I mean, but the future is all going to be collecting data, biometric data on everybody. That's where all the money is going to be.
so the key isn't that they're monitoring you all the time. That would be impossible, even with AI. It's impossible.
You have a monitor on your wrist, in your purse, in your front back pocket, sitting beside you, called a cell phone. Or like me, you might be looking at a cell phone and 2 laptops. And then your televisions, and then your smart vacuums, smart fridges, smart washer and dryers, and so on. And then there's that old router from Comcast Xfinity who has that radar in it that can see in your neighbor's house as well and relays all that information to every app, every device connected. Ooh, damn. So I'm just adding a little sauce. I'm frozen again, but that's cool.
Possible to monitor you all the time. What they're doing is waiting till you either become a problem or it could be an asset. And then they go through your data going, what weird shit can we get this guy on? Bang, 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 bang.
Did you, so you're aware of like Apollo Global and Leon Black and all that stuff?
No.
So
Yeah, let's just like scroll through your social media page and look for something that would attach you with some type of domestic terrorist group. Something like, I don't know, a flag maybe? Yeah, let's look for some white supremacist flags. Oh, what's this? A civil peace flag. Huh. Wonder if Trump created this.
Leon Black is one of the guys that was tied in with Jeffrey Epstein. He created this investment company called Apollo Global based in New York. There's this journalist named
I know it was a cheap shot, wasn't it?
named Henry Abbott, who runs an NBA podcast, an NBA website called True Hoop. It's been around forever. It used to be run by ESPN. ESPN dropped it in like the 2000s or whatever, for whatever reason. And he kept it on by himself ever since. And after Epstein died, he started looking into, he's like, he's like, this company Apollo Global, there's all these NBA owners who are invested in Apollo Global. The Josh Harris from the Phillies, or from the Philadelphia Sixers, are all like tied into this Apollo Global company with this guy Leon Black, who we know is attached to Epstein. So he follows that thread, and before he knows it, he gets so deep into the connection with all of these dudes who own NBA franchises, are connected to this other company, this other bank called Dunham Lambert or something like that, Drexel Lambert or something like this. And then he starts Apollo Global, and that money all comes from like France. It's like this weird little connection to a French bank. And then Bannon is connected to it because he was working for another investment company, or I forget the company he was working for, another big bank. And it basically ties all these people together through all these banks, if you follow the money, into this company Apollo Global that Leon Black, and if you Google Leon Black, there's some like horrendous accusations against him with like children and shit.
It's the currency to the highest level of it's the initiation into the highest level.
And they found out that Leon Black purchased Life Touch, the company that takes all the photos of all the children at all the schools.
All the yearbook.
All the yearbook photos are Life Touch.
That's
owned by that dude.
Yeah.
That company, Apollo Global, that's connected.
Mm-hmm. And there I am. All right. So I keep telling y'all what's going on, and that's what's happening. That's where we're at today. And the race, okay? The race is against the banksters. Did you hear what he just said? All these banks, it's all connected. It's all about money and power. But how they're going to flip the switch on everybody is when they create the digital currency. And I'll quote that guy called Rothschild. I care not who makes the laws as long as I control the money. Because if you control the money, you control the people. If you control the people, you definitely control the government, right? Aren't the people over there? Oh, no, not that way here in America. Government's over the people, and we're all wage slaves playing around. So this is why I tell you, and I'll say it, and I'll say it, and I'll continue to say it. As long as you have a smart device, okay, and you have apps, I'm so all over the place that when I do it, I just got to do it all at once and just like drop away, walk away, drop it like it's hot. So all these apps, they're all talking to each other. Doesn't matter if it's on this laptop, on this phone, on the TV. All my devices are constantly talking to each other. They're sending data. What am I doing on this device? Well, let's send it over to the apps on this device, to that device, so it can continue in this network to create my digital DNA. Okay? That's your digital DNA. This is my physical DNA, but I have a digital DNA. It's real time of my digital twin in the digital omniverses. All these corporations have their own digital omniverse where they can do their own predictive programming, where they can just like boom, hit a button and it spits out what you're going to do in the next 24 hours on probability based on your history. And it's not going to be the United States government that's going to have this technology. It's going to be third parties that they're licensed to. So your government's technically not spying on you. They're within the parameters, even though, you know, they're the biggest racketeering, influence, corrupt organization in the world, United States of America. We just do whatever we want to do, and we don't care what the repercussions or the consequences are going to be, especially for our own people. I mean, who expected two people to get killed and 14 people to be injured in Austin, Texas at a nightclub? And I can't make this stuff up. I swear, tell truth, whole truth, done by truth. So we got, I was at the Mancuso Crossroads Harley Davidson chili cook-off that they have every year, that I was a twice back-to-back second place winner in the jalapeno eating contest. They haven't done it since. But I was there yesterday, and one of the marketing girls, she was helping out with everything, you know, pretty models, actresses. Anyway, I was jamming up with her and talked about all the places that she's lived and her travails as an actress and a model. And she had lived in Austin. And, you know, we were talking about 6th Street. And I was like, you missed it. And my Juan was like, oh, man, you can't really say that to them. You know, I'm like, no. They missed it. And I looked at her and I go, you're a very pretty girl. So there's no way you could walk down 6th Street alone at night now without being harassed. No way. Not you. Not looking like that. But back when I was there, oh, man, respected, worshipped. Oh, yeah. Completely different game. And then what happened later that night after I told her that? Oh, 2 people got killed, 14 got injured at a 6th Street bar in Austin. You just can't make that stuff up. I'm sure once she read it, she's like, oh, my God, I can't believe he told me that. And then there it is in the news. Told you I live this crazy, weird, divine life. It is what it is. But I just want to share that a little bit with you. You know, when I do videos, I tell y'all guys things. I tell y'all for a reason. Okay, I'm not just talking to talk. I believe me, I got tons of other stuff I can go do. Stephen Gladstone, Lethal 22. Yes, Mr. Numbers Man. About the secret societies. If you're in a secret society, you need to out yourself. If you're gonna, you know, hold political office or be in the bar. He emailed me, wants to come back on the show, so I'll have him on sometime this week. I'm gonna jam up Iran and have her on this week. I've got a busy March happening, just with personal stuff that I'm getting out of the way. I'd like to get it out of the way as quickly as possible, so that way I can get back to just being on a regular schedule. For those of you concerned about me and my personal health and wealth, I am back in the gym lifting weights. Yes, lifting weights. I'm not just pussyfooting around. I'm lifting weights. So once I get my all the little, you know, soreness worked out from lack of lifting weights for quite some time, I'm gonna try to do a time lapse of my entire workout. When I get my leg workout complete, I'll do it for you, and y'all can follow along. Yeah, I love it when people call me old. That's a challenge. So I'm heading to the gym. So thank you, everybody, for coming over here and spending your time, money, and energy with me. I hope you learned something. I hope you got a little bit more educated than you were prior to watching this video. Share it with God and everybody if you can. Please wake the fuck up. Pay attention. If you're still on a smart device, you're still on apps, you're still in traditional banking, you will forever be caught up in the matrix and not be able to get out. Because if you're not trying to get out now, by the time you must get out, it'll probably be too late, because you'll be too ill prepared to make that move. So that's what I'm telling you. It's up against the banksters, because once they pull that trigger, you know, there's World War III. There's BRICS to contend with. If China, if Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Iran, Venezuela wanted to be a part of BRICS. I mean, the list is endless of all these countries that are sick and fucking tired of the United States of America's sanctions, taxes, fair tariffs, fees, regime change, lies, disrespect, genocide. I mean, I can go down the list. People love Americans. They hate our government. And we've allowed it. And I was asked today by somebody, you know, what can we do? Because there's so few of us who actually see everything. And even the people that I talk to who think they see everything, who think they know everything, I pop their bubbles. Pop them every day. Like, no, you're incorrect on that. This system is unsalvageable, folks. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You've got to go out and recreate your new community like the Amish. Yeah. If you got to go back to horse and buggy days, a stick and a bow to start a fire, hey, you know, count me in. I don't want to be a part of this crazy ass system where somebody's going to control my money, my life, who I can talk to. Wait till that starts. Who you can communicate with. They can even align it to where you'll never meet somebody on purpose. Or what if they want you to deliberately meet somebody on purpose? And wait, because AI now is almost perfected to where people cannot tell the difference between AI and reality. And wait till these people who are just dumb stuck on Trump get a video message from Trump, and it's Trump actually talking to them, having a conversation like you and I are now, but it's AI. It's not even really Trump. Because I know people right now that are supposed to be just some of the most brilliant intelligence minds, like in intelligence, career-wise, in the military and the U.S. government, who are stuck on stupid. Oh, absolutely. They have fallen for the okie doke. They got okie doked, and when I pointed out to them, they're just like, you know, I can't even describe it. They got so irate, I thought they were going to have a heart attack, so I shut the fuck up. Literally walked out of the room. Yeah, for telling them the truth. That's how irate they got. So imagine how brainwashed these people are. How you can't, you're not even going to be able to get out here. They're just flat ate up with the dumbass. They're going to stay dumbasses. The ignorant shall perish for lack of knowledge. Be prepared, everybody. Thank you. Y'all have a God-blessed week.